this is your second time joining us, welcome back to Out of Control Motherhood. If this is the first time you're joining us, welcome, welcome. So, I'm super excited for today. Shay's going to be joining me in a second, but I just wanted to do a quick thing. So, I am Lydia, for those who don't know me, and I am a prenatal and postpartum fitness coach who specializes in mommy and me fitness, because I don't believe that your lifestyle should have to fit into your health. Rather, I believe that your health should fit into your lifestyle as a mom. And so I like to combine those. Anyways, I am going to bring in Shay right now. So here. Also, ignore the dishwasher going. But anyways, okay. Shay,
There we
go. Yay!
It works, yay!
Okay.
Hi, so I'm Shay. I am the owner of the Humble Thistle Company and also a parent coach. I primarily coach parents who are struggling with burnout, guilt, all of that awful, icky feeling stuff. But I'm also a high needs mom myself, so I'm also helping parents of high needs children. And my child is actually milk free. I don't know if Lydia already said that. My internet connection was kind of wonky. But my child is also milk free because of an allergy. So milk free means I am also milk free. I am still nursing my 15-month-old, and that means that we do not have milk in our diet.
Yes, sorry. I had to grab Esri out. This is Esri.
Hi, Esri.
She is a terrible teether, huh? But
aw, mine too.
yes, it's the worst. It's just a hard situation.
Gross, just gross. Oh my
Yes.
God, I can't. Honestly, they do not sleep while they teeth. I don't know if that's just my kid, but does not sleep when they are teething. They're a week straight of being just awake. I don't know. Lord help me, because honestly, I don't even know what day it is anymore.
Exactly. Oh man, I know. I was like so dead. I like woke up this morning and I was like, did I actually even sleep? I was like, did that actually happen? I was like, I don't think I
Yeah,
did.
I just close my eyes and blink.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh gosh, it's time to wake up already? Yeah. So I am dairy free. Well, I'm actually not dairy free. False. I eat dairy. But Amina's dairy free and my husband's dairy free. And we think maybe Esri will have a dairy allergy. And so mostly everyone in the house is dairy free, which makes my ice cream off limits, which is super nice. But it means that like a lot of stuff, like we have to buy dairy free, because like there's nothing worse than like going to an ice cream shop or going to a party with Amina and having to explain to her that she can't have the treats. She can't have what the other kids are eating because it has milk in it and it's gonna make her sick, and it is like the worst feeling in the world. And so now we're like pretty mostly dairy free. Well, like I'll eat my dairy stuff whenever, right? But other than that, we are mostly dairy free. So there are actually a lot of yummy dairy free stuff that I have found, because I hate like substitutes. Like I'm like, most of the time I'm like, if it doesn't taste exactly right on, I'm not gonna eat it. Like it's just not gonna happen. And so like we have worked to find this stuff that tastes just like a dairy stuff, and find something that I enjoy doing is finding the dairy-free alternatives for what we're cooking. So what I cook with, I have dairy-free alternatives for that, and like it'll still taste pretty much the same. I don't think I've had an issue with anything tasting weird or off. So yeah. Yeah. So it's been a journey, and I think like the funny thing is, when I first married Moroni, he's dairy free, and he was always talking about how he loved milkshakes, and I was like, man, if I could like just make a milkshake. Okay, well, you guys, you can make a dairy free milkshake. It's actually really easy. And so I did it, and then I also made him like a dairy free ice cream cake that year, and like that just like started it, where I was like, I have to find the dairy free alternatives for everything. And like the best part about it is it doesn't make you bloated. So like you can eat a bunch of ice cream cake and not get bloated. It's the best.
Okay, so I noticed the same thing with ice cream, because that's like, I need ice cream. I need it like I need oxygen. I can't live my life without oxygen or without ice cream. Everyone will tell you that. Everyone who knows me. And so for me, when I was told that I had to be completely milk free, like that, not just dairy, like anything that had any milk containing element in it. And I was devastated. I was like, I can't live on sherbet. That stuff is not the same. And I swear, I'm not even kidding you when I say there were real tears. I couldn't handle the news. It was like the loss of like, I don't know, like my whole identity just went away in the ice cream. I swear. And so then I was trying dairy-free alternatives. A lot of people were suggesting different brands to me that maybe had like a lactose intolerant or whatever, but they were not the same. Like it wasn't satisfying that craving the same way, because not only do I crave the flavor, I crave that texture, like that creaminess. I need that in my ice cream. So when I was doing it, I tried this brand. It was so delicious. And honestly, it was the most disgusting ice cream I've ever had. Oh my God, you have it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's terrible. I don't remember the flavor I had, but it was the most disgusting. And not that it was gross ice cream, or not that it was like gross, but it was like gross ice cream. I can't even English my thoughts right now. I don't know what's going on. It was so gross. And I tried different brands, whatever they had in stores, and I couldn't handle the stuff that was there. And then my mom one day was like, well, I saw that this was dairy free, but you're gonna have to check and see if there's milk ingredients in it, but it's Ben and Jerry's. And I was like, what? Ben and Jerry's? So I tried it. It's actually the most incredible ice cream ever. And like you said, I don't get bloated. I don't even feel like the same kind of like full or sickness that you do kind of almost after like you've had way too much milk. You just feel like bleh and sluggish. I don't feel that way after I eat it. So I can have like ice cream that feels like ice cream, that tastes like ice cream, that is the most delicious thing ever, and like has zero milk in it. It's incredible. And I feel better than I did when I had ice cream. It's incredible. So Ben & Jerry's is 100% my favorite ice cream ever. And I've never even thought to make an ice cream cake out of it, but my husband, for his birthday, is always wants ice cream cake. And of course, like 2/3 of our household can't have any milk. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to steal a recipe from you this year. I am making an ice cream cake with my Ben & Jerry's.
Yes. No, exactly. It's so easy. So like, so for Mother's Day, for those of you who don't know, I asked for a cake with like 2 candles in it, whatever, right? I asked for a cake. And it was a really funny situation that goes along with that. But what was cool is basically I have the cake still here. Well, some of the cake. So this is one that we made for Amina. It's on like this ratty old plate, but like regular cake. It's dairy free. It is, Duncan Hines yellow cake is dairy free. You do whatever you want, add stuff in, right? And then what I did for the ice cream cake was I froze the cake, and then I took it out and I melted the ice cream like just a little bit, like softened it. I guess I didn't melt it. I softened it, and then I went ahead and put it on. Hold up, Ezra's eating.
I was like the icing.
And then I put it on, and then I froze it again, and then I pulled it out to frost it, and then froze it again.
Oh.
Yes. So that's a dairy-free cake.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm just in love. I am very much like a sweets lover. I can never say that I'm going to be all natural, sugar-free. Like that is never going to be me, because I just crave snacks. I need snacks, good treats. So like for me, cutting all that stuff out was terrible. And the more that I talk to you, the more that I like learn that there are other alternatives out there, the better I feel. And I almost said butter there. I actually recently discovered a butter alternative. So Basel brand, it's like a 1-to-1 ratio. So anything that has normally butter in it, do you have there? Is it Basel?
A different butter. This is the butter I use. That's super good. But tell me about your butter.
What is yours, plant-based? Because ours is plant-based butter.
Yeah, this is an almond oil butter. They have like an avocado oil one and a olive oil one, but I really like the almond butter one, and it comes in sticks. So when you're cooking, you can use it in sticks too.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what we got, was the stick of butter, because I was finding a lot of when we were cooking, like when it usually calls for butter in the recipe, if you don't have it, or if it's like a food that normally you would put butter on, I'm finding like everything is very dry.
Yeah.
So discovering the butter was like a game changer for me, just to create that like moistness in my food again. I felt like everything was the driest food ever. It was terrible. It was like desert food, honestly. So like finding butter that I could actually, And honestly, I live in a rural area. I couldn't believe that they had it at our local convenience store. And I'd never seen it up until I think it was yesterday I found it. And we've used it in so many different things since then, like every meal since then. Maybe it was the day before. Whatever day it was that I discovered it. We've used it in every meal since then. And I'm like, it's perfect. It doesn't add a weird flavor. Like it's the butter I needed. So it was the base style brand that we had, but it's been amazing. I love it.
Oh yeah.
So good.
I know. And I think that was like the hardest part too, because originally we did margarine, but like margarine isn't as good for you sort of a thing. And it didn't taste like, it didn't have that butter taste. Like I couldn't take margarine and spread it on my toast, right? Like that is just did not taste the same. And so when we found this, I was like, oh sweet, let's try it. And it was really good. And then it comes in sticks. And actually at Costco, they have like big things of it in like the olive oil one. And so that's super cool. But yeah, but literally I feel like that's a huge struggle. But I have, okay, you're talking about snacks. So I have to show you all the dairy-free snacks we have that like kind of go with like snacks that you'd be like, I want, but they're not, but they have dairy in them. And we'll talk about sweets too. So I gotta show you. So our first and kind of favorite one is the Nature's Bakery fig bars, and they have like strawberry and blueberry and fig and a bunch of different flavors, but these are actually vegan and they do not taste too bad at all. Like these are Amina's favorite snacks. She will devour like an entire thing of them. It's so good. So those are like super good, kind of our go-tos. But other things that like you probably have all the time that you're like, are these actually dairy free? Well, like Ritz crackers are dairy free. And graham crackers are dairy free. And I feel like the best part with that is that Scooby-Doo graham crackers are dairy free.
The Scooby-Doo brand.
Yes, exactly. We just bought those and I was like, I need those, so here we go. But other things too is, this is my favorite brand of popcorn, the Smart 50 Smart Food popcorn. The sea salt does not have any milk in it, the sea salt one. So it's like so good, so good.
Honestly, okay, so I discovered, and honestly, I was super, super shocked. Oreos have no milk in them whatsoever.
Oreos
Of all things, Oreos have no milk. I was thinking there's got to be other types of cookies out there. Like, obviously, I eat, like, I'll eat cookies of, like, you can make, like, peanut butter cookies or something, right? You could just substitute the butter or whatever. But I was shocked to find out that Oreos that literally look like they have a cream center have zero milk in them. Most of their flavors, too, not even just the original. So most of their flavors are actually dairy-free, milk-free, like good to go. And that shocked me. But again, like I need snacks. So it was like one of those like lifesavers for me. I was like, I got cookies, I've got ice cream, like I'm finding like cakes that I can have. And not now I feel like I sound like I eat that 3 times a day. I don't, but I should like finding those things I think was a big lifesaver for me. One thing I did notice when I was going milk-free entirely is things that when you're like, okay, so as moms, we're all busy, right? Like we're all kind of struggling to get meals on the table 3 times a day kind of thing. Like it's busy, life is crazy. And moms are always looking for convenient and quick solutions to mealtime. Whether that means meal prep or a good crock pot, whatever, like whatever's going on. So I was looking at all these different recipes and things that I wanted to cook, and the homemade versions of these things do not include milk. They don't call for milk in the recipe. However, a lot of the things when you buy them store-bought have milk in them. So things that you would think have no milk, like my husband's mom, she one day I guess so she was at the store and was like, oh, here, I got this like frozen stir fry thing for you guys. Milk in a stir fry, like a veggie meat stir fry. It wasn't even a gravy. I don't even know what it was. It was some sort of like Asian dressing or whatever, and like milk in it. They're not eating creamy dressings. And at home, if you're making like a stir fry from scratch, there's no milk. Same with nougat. Like if you're making it at home as a dessert, there's no milk. You buy it in store, it has milk. Gum. Did you know that gum has milk in it? Because that one also shocked the crap out of me. Like I could not believe that there was like milk in gum. And like even though you think that they're going to be in a lot of things, like I discovered dairy-free bread at one of our local bakeries, but I couldn't find dairy-free bread in our grocery store. And I don't know if it's just the current shortage through COVID and stuff, and there's been a lot of shortages. but I could not find like any dairy-free bread anywhere. And a local bakery that we have actually makes all of their bread dairy-free. So like I couldn't find a grocery store bread, but the bakeries had everything that I needed. Like they had hot dog buns, hamburger buns, they've got like regular buns, they've got bread, they've got like whole wheat bread, they had rye bread. Like you could have literally anything you wanted because they make everything milk-free. So like that was my biggest solution, was finding a bakery locally that could do milk-free. And I think they also do milk-free muffins and things like that. So finding a way to do that at a local bakery was amazing because I didn't have to go and make all the muffins myself, which was awesome.
Right. Oh my gosh, that's totally true. I know. I have not explored like a lot of the bakeries like around here, or even when I lived in California, I did not explore a lot of bakeries. Like the only place that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy this is dairy free, is there's an ice cream shop down in like California at Pismo Beach, and it's like this like famous cinnamon roll shop, okay? And they have dairy free cinnamon rolls, and they are just like divine, so good. And I mean, like people line up out the doors like around the block to get them. And when I like found out they were dairy free, I was like, yes, finally. I was like, yes. So yeah, they're like super simple solutions like in your area too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, buy local. Like I find that buying local as opposed to big brands is your best bet because they're like, unlike the big brands, things that don't call for milk generally don't have milk when they're from local bakeries, local farms, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people have said like the cow's milk allergy is the issue. So some of them have had still goat milk. That unfortunately didn't work for us either. Like we're completely anti-milk in this house, I guess. Anything that comes from an animal, we cannot have, which is odd because it sounds like in your case, your husband already had the allergy.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, like on neither side of our family, not even in our extended family, as far as we're aware, is there any like lactose intolerance, milk allergy, like nothing. So it was a shock to us, and it actually didn't get caught right away.
Yeah.
So our child early on had symptoms of milk allergy, like right from day one. And they were brushed off as other things. Like I was told it was a milk hind milk imbalance. I was told that it was just reflux, which by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, cow's milk protein allergy can actually mimic the symptoms of reflux. So a lot of the time it gets missed for that. Our child, honestly, until they had actual cow's milk at 9 months, when the doctor had said, like, try and give them cow's milk, they had it the first time and they threw up. And my child has never thrown up. Like, they've never, like, forcefully vomited in their life up until this point. And immediately afterwards, they forcefully vomited. They were not, like, but other than that, they were totally normal. It was just this one forceful vomit. And then the second time that we gave it to them, the next day when we tried at dinner again, just a couple of ounces, they accidentally spilled it on themselves and immediately broke out in like hives from head to toe. Took them to the emergency room. They had thrown up also from like the tiny amount that they'd taken, but we'd like thrown them in the bath really quick to rinse them off while I was like getting the diaper bags thrown together because they weren't having any respiratory distress at the time. So I was like throwing the diaper bag together, and like our hospital like literally minutes away. It was not that far. And my mom got our child in the bath, like rinsing them off completely from head to toe. My husband's getting the car started and like everything ready to go. And so when we got to emerge, they were like, oh yeah, it was probably the cow's milk. So just don't give it to them again until they're a year old. So at a year, I had talked to the family doctor and kind of said, I don't know that I feel comfortable giving the cow's milk again. And he had said, you know, with all the GI stuff that's going on, it's probably better if you see a pediatrician before you introduce other foods anyways. And at that time, the pediatrician said, I'll refer you to an allergist. And when we got the testing done, the allergist was like, yeah, that's a hardcore positive. Like that's just, there's no doubt in my mind that that's a positive. Almost instantaneously. Like there was like an instant reaction to it. Our child now has 2 EpiPens. The allergist said that likely with each exposure, the reaction probably would have gotten worse. So it could have become anaphylactic. So for anybody who doesn't know, symptoms of reflux, green stool sometimes is not necessarily a sign of infection. Sometimes it's a sign of a milk allergy. Didn't know that. Forceful vomiting frequently, especially if you have a formula-fed baby. Try hypoallergenic formula. People often don't know that that can be sometimes just a solution. Some babies are not great with hypoallergenic formula, even though it breaks down the protein to be smaller and more just more welcoming to the body, easier to break down. Sometimes you do need soy formula or alternative formulas, but our doctor did recommend us waiting to go like the soy formula route until talking to the doctor and confirming, because it doesn't necessarily have all components, that option. So if that's how you need to do things, that's definitely, if your little one is frequently having issues with their bowels or vomiting after feeds, aggressive spit up, look into getting a hypoallergenic formula. So yeah, so with my child, we were told by the allergist that it is really common for children to have milk allergies, and that's okay. In most cases, they do outgrow them. New research is showing that reintroducing milk within baked goods is actually one of the great ways to outgrow that allergy. It allows it to come in small amounts and cooked at high temperatures. The protein is less intense on the recipe that I need to cook up. And we'll go and actually try them in office there. The test takes about 3 hours, assuming that there's no reaction. Can be longer if they need to be monitored and treated after that. But if there's no reaction, yeah, they monitor them for about 3 hours just to make sure that nothing has happened. And then they'll give you kind of the green light to reintroduce within baked goods. At that time, I might also be given the green light to reintroduce some milk into my diet. Obviously, I can't go as milk intense as I used to be, because I love everything milk, I swear. Like, I love cheese and ice cream and butter and milk and like all the things. But I might get the green light to then reintroduce a little bit of it to give it indirectly through my milk as well. So then if that helps, we'll be going back to see the allergist after that to retest to see if there's still an allergy. And if at the time there is no allergy, we will be able to reintroduce milk into their diet. And I am so excited about it. I honestly wish that we had figured it out sooner. At 9 months, I still was not told to cut milk out of my diet. And that was when our child had that allergic reaction. So I didn't know to cut the milk out at the time. I continued to eat milk. We washed our hands. We just were cautious about the fact that they couldn't have milk. And turns out, like, having milk in my diet was still causing them severe gastric distress. So I wish I'd known sooner. I found out at a year. If you've noticed any of those signs or symptoms, talk to your doctor. It can possibly be a cow's milk allergy.
Sorry, I had to mute it because everyone started throwing temper tantrums. So we're here.
Motherhood.
Yeah, right. I know. So what I was gonna say, yeah, is Amina. When we went into the allergist, they actually have a term for it, and like I didn't think to bring my paper out that has the term on it, but there's a term where they're like, oh yeah, kids may have this allergy, but it's not like really an allergy because they just don't like it's an intolerance for a little bit, and so the allergist thought that that's the case, and so he was like, reintroduce milk for an entire year, like dairy free until she's 3. And then we're gonna we have an appointment this next month to start reintroducing milk. But the problem is like, she is still like having the reaction when she has milk. And so we may even go longer, but apparently they're supposed to grow out of it and stuff like that. So hopefully soon she will like grow out of it, because yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess it's not that big of an issue, especially since my husband's dairy free, but yeah.
Did she have symptoms, or how did you discover that? Like, did they just kind of assess it based on your husband, or like what happened there?
Yeah, so what ended up happening is I gave her milk and oatmeal to introduce it. And I don't know if that's the best thing to do. Who knew? It was my first time. I was like, here is some oatmeal with milk. And she ended up having like this like acid diarrhea that burnt her butt super bad, and had it for like an entire like 2 days, and it was just horrible. And so that's what happens every single time she has dairy, and it's just like a horrible situation. Her butt breaks out in these hives, so it's really weird. Like, she doesn't have a reaction if she touches milk, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so that's where they were like, I don't think she has a milk allergy.
Mm-hmm.
It may just be like something going on inside. But on like her butt, she'll break out in hives and break out and stuff like that. And so we can tell immediately milk. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then I tried like something with milk in it to give it to her. I can't remember what it was. It It was something. And she ended up having the same reaction. And so like she can't have like not graham crackers. She can have graham crackers. She can't have like the goldfish or anything. If she gets any of that, it's just like horrible for a few days. And so we like traced it back to the milk, like made sure we took like everything out of her diet, started putting things in basically one at a time, and found the milk allergy. And so yeah, but yeah, we're supposed to be able to reintroduce it, just kind of depending on how she is, but she's still having a horrible reaction to it. And so like part of me is even kind of like, at this point, do I really want to reintroduce her to it, because it's not affecting like me, like I still get my ice cream, you know? But
Yeah.
like most of us are like dairy free anyways, and so it's like, okay, whatever. And like they're coming out with so many new dairy free products, like so many new ones that are really good. Like Swiss Miss just came out with a dairy free hot chocolate, which is super good.
Oh, you're speaking to my heart.
Yes. And then on top of that, if you like marshmallows and whipped cream, this Ready Whip, it's non-dairy. This is the best thing in the entire universe. I mean, like, so good, so good. And then another one that just came out that we found is, I think this is actually a local brand for us though, but I'm not sure, because they were like in store selling it like by the bottle. But this is a nacho cheese called like Gimme More Gabby's, and it's nacho cheese, and it actually tastes like real nacho cheese. And like I tasted it, so like you know it's not yes. Yeah.
What I need to find is a dairy-free ranch sauce, because I tried the diet or however it's pronounced. I tried that.
Yeah.
Did not taste like ranch sauce at all. Not even a little bit. And they're cheese. So my mother-in-law one day had come up and said, I found cheese for you. It's dairy-free, it's milk-free. And so I tried the cheese. The texture is off and it has a weird aftertaste. So I'm still struggling to find cheese. My husband recently brought one that was okay. I don't know what brand it was, to be honest with you. It wasn't the best, but it was a little bit better. And it was like a brick of cheese that was non-dairy that he found at the grocery store. So better, but the diet stuff, or Daya, or I don't even know how it's pronounced, it was like a shredded cheese. I tried to put on nachos and they were all glued together like I couldn't, and not like the good sticky ooey gooiness of like regular nachos. It was like melted, but not. Like it was like melted, but into putty. I don't know. It was not good. I couldn't do it. I could maybe put it on like tacos or something if I was desperate, like as a shredded cheese, but it had a weird aftertaste. So I don't know. The other food would have to be strong enough to like take out that aftertaste.
Yeah. I like hate, okay, well, like, that's what they eat, is they eat Daiya cheese, Moroni and Amina do. And like Amina, it's the only cheese she's ever known, so she loves it. So yeah, but I hate it when it gets on our plates and I have to wash the dishes like the day after. Like if I forget to wash the dishes and I have to wash it the day after, it is like cement. It is cement.
It's brutal.
Like, on there, it's coming off.
I had the same problem because I was like, we rinsed the plate and then stuck it in the sink, and it just was, you know, how motherhood is. It's crazy and busy, and we just didn't get it washed. So it was rinsed in the sink, and rinsing it was not enough, because that next day we had the same problem where it was like, do we just throw out the plate, because I'm gonna like scrape it until it breaks. Like I could not get this cheese off. It was driving me up the wall. So like I think it's one of those things that maybe you would have to wash kind of like right away. It was caked on there really good.
Yeah, no, seriously. And like Amina has gotten it in her hair before, and I just contemplated cutting her hair. Like I was like, you may have just lost your hair.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's like gum. It's like, it reminds me of that same thing. I got gum in my hair when I was, I think, 6 or 7. And I remember my grandma getting it out of my hair with peanut butter. And it was a long process. It was not a good one. And I just think, I don't put that same effort into getting cheese out of my child's hair. Like, you're right. I might just take the scissors to it and give it a snip. Oh my God.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was like, that was the thing that I think maybe was the tipping point for me, was the amount of effort required with that particular brand of cheese. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the things we've done, so aside from snacks, because I know I've mentioned a lot of snacks, so my husband's actually really, really great cook. And there was a point in time where I was trying the low FODMAP diet. And so when I had done the low FODMAP, apparently it just, I don't even know. Our doctor says everybody should be doing it. It's just great. It's just so much better for your body. I don't know if I agree, but I tried it for a while, for I think like 12 weeks steady. And that means more than just like no milk. It's a super restrictive diet. Like if you look it up online, there's so many things you can't eat. When it comes to bananas, you can eat them when they're like yellow or green, but you can't eat them with any brown spots on them. You like your broccoli, you can eat like the head of it, but not the stem of it. Like it's a very restrictive and strange diet. So even doing that, my husband was able to create like amazing recipes. He does this peanut maple chicken that would blow your mind. It's so incredible. We like even like quinoa dishes and stuff that you can just dress with different like types of dressings, or like balsamic vinaigrettes, like things like that. So good. He makes balsamic veggies. So good. Like I can't even believe how good it is. So the fact that there's so many recipes out there that still are also dairy free, vegan if you're vegan, that you can get, like, even Google low FODMAP, because as much as I think that it's a terrible, terrible, awful restricted diet, it has some really incredible recipes when you start getting creative. Like I even had to get creative with the brand of soy sauce I had when I was doing low FODMAP, and still had like the most amazing food of my life. So amazing, truly. Google it. It's so good. Dairy-free recipes. Like, you will find the most mind-blowing things you never even thought about.
Yes. Oh my gosh. It like, isn't that the best? It like makes it so satisfying. Like before you go dairy free, you're like, okay, I'm eating this, and dairy free, and you're like, wait, I can't have it. And then you find like something that's a way that you can have it, and it's just like 100 times better than before. And it's like, I can't go back now.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. 100%. Honestly, like I did not think, I'm going back to the ice cream because I can't get over the ice cream, how good it was. I honestly thought I would be disappointed and not have ice cream until I was done nursing. Like I thought I'm going to have to wait till who knows when, because this child is never going to stop nursing. Like people joke that I'm going to college with them. Like they nurse around the clock still, which I'm fine with, but it means no milk. And then finding Ben and Jerry's was the most incredible thing. I was like, not only can I have ice cream, but it's so good. I tried the half-baked peanut butter cookie one. So good. Like just the best. And the chocolate fudge brownie, I think it is fudge. I don't remember what it is. Chocolate fudge brownie, something rather. Like such good, rich, milky feeling, like creamy chocolate. No milk. Not at all. And it's better probably, I think, than any of, my husband will give me a hard time for saying this. So, but anyway, I think it's better than any ice cream I have ever had. Truly, the non-dairy stuff through Ben and Jerry's, better than any actual like dairy containing ice cream I have ever had. So good.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because my husband went dairy free. He likes the Ben and Jerry stuff, but then like we couldn't find a good vanilla ice cream, like you're talking about, like the So Delicious one's just a little bit off, right? But we found a dairy free whipping cream, and we made homemade ice cream, and it was like spot on. And the perfect thing about it is, since it has coconut in it, you add less sugar, and so it's more natural sugar than other sugar. And so like that's also, I feel like, a huge perk of dairy free is sometimes if it's made with coconut, you're gonna have a lot less sugar in it, and so it just like feels better. I don't know.
Well, the lactose that's in milk generally, right? Like that is what keeps it sweet, but it's also like you end up with tons of sugar in it. Like anything you look at that has dairy has tons of sugar. So you're absolutely right. I think being milk free has also, because we've had to get more creative with recipes and things, has made our overall diet actually healthier unintentionally, just by finding substitutes, right? Like, because you can still have, I mean, depending on obviously what the allergy is, in this case it's milk, but I think with any allergy, any parent that's struggling, getting creative about how you create your recipes, what you can take out or what you can add that's a little bit different, like getting creative with those things can actually make your diet unintentionally healthier, which is obviously an added bonus. I know a lot of us are looking for ways to get healthy, but we still have like our cravings, or we need something quick and easy and simple, whatever. Like whatever the case may be, like it can sometimes be like just an added bonus, just a side effect of having this allergy or this creative meal can create like a healthier diet for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So true. I think that's like, I don't know. It just like feels good. And so like you don't have to feel crappy about being dairy free. Like you get to feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I totally think the like huge bonuses.
hmm hmm For sure. And I think too, like, have you discovered it earlier? It may have been easier because I wasn't really thinking about going milk free. So after a year of nursing my child and then finding out like you have to completely alter your diet, I was taking in a lot of milk before that. And then with our child, because they weren't taking in any form of milk and they're actually refusing milk alternatives, which was another challenge for us. So we couldn't get, like, they won't take oat milk. We tried, I can't find pea milk for the life of me, but we were going to try pea milk. That didn't work. We tried soy milk. They wouldn't take that. Basically any milk alternative, no matter what brand we offered. We did try and get creative. Like we did try and puree fruit and mix it in. And it made just like a fruit flavored milk consistency. Like it wasn't thick like a smoothie. They still wouldn't take it. And our child loves fruit. So the fact that they still wouldn't take it was like, I don't know how to do this. We tried mixing like mostly breast milk with a little bit of like a milk alternative and trying to increase that. And they wouldn't take it. They won't even take expressed milk from me anymore. So I can't even give them like a cup of breast milk. It's continuously nursing. And so that was an added challenge for us. And it also made things more difficult. However, we do, like, because there is still vitamin D that's easily accessible out there, we've been giving them vitamin D just to make sure that they still get some of that. We've been finding ways to get other vitamins and nutrients that usually you would find in milk that primarily children find in milk and finding in other things. And we've been able to sneak milk into smoothies and into mashed potatoes. I know that sounds really ridiculous, but like we've been able to sneak milk alternatives into like mashed potatoes and things. So they're getting a little bit, not a lot of anything, but they're getting a little bit of that where we can get it. And then we're finding the nutrients elsewhere. So we're just getting creative about how they get what we thought they needed from milk.
Yeah. No, and I think that was an interesting thing that I had someone when they were like evaluating the girls, maybe it's a pediatrician or something. They were like, well, since they're dairy free, like how do you get them calcium and vitamin D? And I was like, number one, I was like, don't start talking to me unless you have like a degree in nutrition. I was like, don't start talking. They were like, milk is the only thing that has it in. And I was like, no, you're like actually wrong. I was like, so many fruits and veggies. Oh, that's so cool. Let's come out here. So many fruits and veggies have it. I mean, like vitamin D, if you take your kid outside, like a few 20-minute sessions gives them enough vitamin D, you know? And so like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times some healthcare providers that don't have a background in nutrition can scare you out of these decisions or can scare you into like making your child suffer, you know? And it's like, look, like you're wrong. Like read a book. I don't know. What,
Yeah, so we started talking to a dietitian.
You know?
Oh, you froze on me again.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. Okay.
It's just wild. It's so wild.
Yeah, we started talking to a dietitian because we were just feeling like we didn't want to restrict their diet, but we wanted to make sure they were getting everything they needed. And like, surprisingly, so when we had blood work ordered by the pediatrician, just to make sure that everything was good to go, I was also told, because our child primarily was drinking breast milk and kind of refusing solids, that my child was not going to have high enough iron. They looked anemic. And because the iron in your milk, or the source of iron that they get in your milk, tends to deplete around 6 months. So my child now at a year, when I was going to see the pediatrician, they were like, oh yeah, your child looks anemic and, you know, we need to order blood work. Their iron's probably low. They tested all of their levels, like their vitamin D, their B12, all of their nutrients that they should be getting. Every single one of them came back completely fine. Because we're working with the dietitian and finding other ways to put that into their diet. So despite the fact that they're not having milk, and the thought and the fear, like you mentioned here, is like, no milk, your child is ill. Or your child is going to be like depleted of nutrients. Your child's not going to get what they need. They're not going to grow. They're going to be sick. They're like whatever. Their bones are going to crack, like crumble. Like that is scary for a lot of parents, but it's also not true because contrary to popular belief, like milk is not your only source of calcium. Milk is not your only source of vitamin D. Milk is not your only source of protein. Like, milk is not your only source of nutrients.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, we've had the same conversations, and I think like, especially with breast milk, like a lot of papers that I've been reading talk about how like your body will take and create what your body needs. It does not care if you don't have that in your body. It will find a way to get it and give it to your baby. And I think we can be the same way as our bodies are. You know, there's so many different alternatives for stuff that like we can be resourceful too, you know, and we don't have to be stuck in this like, oh, if your diet isn't like this, then you're not healthy. And I think that's a huge thing that like we almost have to break out of, you know. So yeah.
I think there's a lot of stigma around like how people feed their children, because we're still talking about, even now, like, you know, we joke about in general, I mean, like in society, not you and I, but like in general, society jokes about like, oh, every kid's gonna eat chicken nuggets. And it's like, but that's not really a problem. Like, they're still getting chicken. What is wrong with the fact that it's chicken nuggets? Like, and there's some dietitians out there that will argue that you should be breastfeeding up until the age of 2. And now, I don't necessarily agree that you should. I don't like the word should for anything. But if you want to, and your baby wants to, I can see how there's dietitians, at least in the dietitians of Canada, they recommend up to the age of 2 because there's still health benefits. So if that's something you want to do, you still have that option, right? Like, it doesn't mean your child's like getting no value out of your breast milk after 6 months. Like, they act like that, but that's not the case. And then with like all of these other things, like you're saying, like how like us moms can be resourceful. Processed foods, even, because as far as picky eaters go, a lot of pediatricians will say just give them what they'll eat. It's better for them to eat something than to eat nothing. And so having, you know, processed foods is not necessarily a bad diet either. So even though we're kind of now in this new phase of like everything organic, like clean eating, no processed foods, no preservatives, like everything is bad, that's not really totally a problem. You can have processed foods be part of a healthy diet. And the way that you choose your processed foods, or what you're mixing them with, the way that you're doing them, the frequency that you're giving them, can create still a balanced diet. And so we make it much more complicated to feed children than it needs to be.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I feel like this like leads into like maternal mental health too, because literally like it affects our mental health when people are telling us what we should do. Oh, your baby is going to turn out this way if it happens. And you're like, what? You know? And so I feel like it's like a huge shift and stuff. Yeah. And we have to take a huge shift as mothers to move towards like, I don't know, what's good for our baby, not commenting on stuff. You know, I don't know. Definitely one of my pet peeves. But yeah.
Yeah. I think like what you're saying, like same thing, like when you say like that leads into like mental health for moms, it's so true. There's so much outside pressure. Why everyone else is concerned about what your kid is eating is beyond me. But that, like, I had read recently actually a statistic. I think it was 66% of working parents also met the criteria for parental burnout. So when you think about that, like 66% of working parents, so what about the non-working parents, right? Like the stay-at-home parents, the ones who are working within the home? Like, they're also somewhere in the statistics. So what percentage of parents, like worldwide then, overall, in all criteria, in all walks of life, what percentage of parents then are meeting the criteria for parental burnout? And what part of that is attributed to like societal pressures on how we should be parenting, how we should be feeding, how we should be dressing, how they should be sleeping, like all of these things, how they should be stimulated, how they play, how they learn. And I think that all of that leads right back into like mental health, maternally, paternally, whatever the case may be, like parentally, I think that that all leads into mental health for parents.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are doing your mental health week. Do you want to tell them about that?
Yeah, so June 6th to 10th, 2022, myself and Alice from Authentically Alice are hosting Maternal Mental Wellness Week. So we're not calling it Mental Health Week, we're calling it Mental Wellness Week. Our goal is to work through topics of birth trauma, overstimulation, guilt, burnout. We're talking about loss of identity. We're talking about impact on relationships and parenting. We're talking about the impact of nutrition, actually, is also include the impact of nutrition on your maternal mental health. And we're going to give you all the tips, tricks, and tools to take back your wellness. So we are working partnership with people who are experts in this field. Renata from Bloom Psychotherapy is a registered social worker who specializes in perinatal mental health. We've also got Sarah Cowan, same thing, registered social worker who specializes in perinatal mental health. Ali Wittig, who is an infant and maternal mental health specialist. So excited. So excited. It's going to be such a great week. If you register, it's okay if you can't make the lives. The replays will automatically be sent to your email. You can join for a single night. You can join for all 5, whatever you are interested in. And the link can be found in my bio to register, or you can send me a DM if you have any questions.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited for that. I am super stoked for that. So, yay!
It's going to be really fun. We have lots of giveaways too. So if anybody's still watching this, giveaways galore. Like so many good giveaways.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Well, yeah. So I don't have anything more to say about dairy-free stuff. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. Other than that, we can close this up, you know?
I think that we've kind of shifted the conversation now. It sounds like we're talking now about mental health. And maybe what we can talk about next week is the impact of mental health, especially with like, for your sake, right? Like we're not discussing fitness and maternal mental wellness week. So let's talk about like fitness and how that impacts your mental health. Let's talk about other ways that you can, maximize your mental health without maxing out the budget, without maxing out your energy. Like, let's talk about those things maybe next week. Things that are maybe different than what we're discussing on maternal mental wellness week.
Yes, totally. Let's do that. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, make sure you are tuning in next week at the same Instagram. We'll be back next week. So make sure you're here. And yeah, it was great talking to you, Shay.
Great talking to you too. See you next week.